What is frontend? The frontend is everything the user either sees or interacts with when they visit the website. It is responsible for the total look and feel of an online experience. Can be called client side. While the term may sound a little technical, website frontends are really an everyday encounter for almost all of us. If you've opened an app to check the weather or scroll through today's headlines on a website, you've interacted with a frontend. But simply, the frontend is a combination of two different elements, the graphic design and the user interface. Each of these is created independently, with most of the technical work going into the user interface using web language like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. How is the frontend developed? Creating a font and experience isn't one person's job. In fact, it takes a group of people to create a website that looks good as it feels to use. The front-end experience usually goes through a few different stages of development, including the creation of wireframes, prototypes, and finally user testing. And now, what is the backend? The backend, also called server-side, is the infrastructure that supports the front-end and is made up of parts of a piece of software regular user can see. The backend is basically a website's brain. The backend includes the server that provides data whenever requested, the database where that data is organized, and the application that delivers that information. The point is simply, backend developers create code to ensure everything functions correctly in the frontend. To ensure the website operates effectively, they typically spend more time than web design figuring out logistics and putting algorithms into place. How are they different? Although they are very different, the front-end and back-end are come together to create a functional website. Front-end development focuses on the graphical aspect of a website or app, aka the client or user side. Back-end development concentrates on the server side. Front-end and back-end also use different programming languages. Front-end developers use CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, while back-end developers work with Python, Ruby, PHP, C++, Node.js, and JavaScript. Back-end and front-end developers also use different frameworks. Front-end developers use frameworks and libraries like AngularJS, React.js, jQuery, and Sass. Meanwhile, back-end developers work with Express, Django, Rails, Spring, and Laravel. Now, what is API? Connectivity is an amazing thing. By now, we're all used to the instant connectivity that puts the world at our fingertips from desktop or devices. We can purchase, post, pin, and pick anything, anywhere. We are connected to the world and each other like never before. But how doesn't it happen? How doesn't data get from here to there? How do different devices and applications connect with each other? Our connected world is the application. Programmer interface, or API, is the engine under the hood and is behind the scenes that we take for granted, but is what makes possible the interactive we've come to expect and rely upon. But exactly, what is an API? It's a question everyone asks, or not. API is the messenger that takes requests and tells a system what you want to do, and then returns the response back to you to give you. A familiar simple think of an API as we're in a restaurant. Imagine you're sitting at the table with a menu of choices to order from in the kitchen. As the part of only system will prepare your order. What missing is the critical link to communicate your order to kitchen and deliver your food back to your table. That's where the waiter or API comes. The messenger that takes your request or order and tells the system, in the case, the kitchen, what to do and delivers the response back to you in case food knows that we've wanted your appetite. So let's apply this to a real API. Example, you're probably familiar with a train process. Like a restaurant, you have a menu of options to choose from a drop-down menu in this case. Yeah, you choose a departure city and date, origin city. Your departure interact with KIE website to access the KIE database to see if any seats are available on those dates and what the choice might be based on certain variable. But what if you're not using the train AKI website which has direct access for the information? What if you are using an online travel service that aggregates information from many different train KII? The travel service interacts with the KIA API. The API is the interface that, like your helpful, where can be asked by that online travel service to get information from the train KIA system over the internet to book seats, choose meal preference, or baggage option. It also then takes the KIA train's response to your request and delivers its right back to the online travel service, which then show it to you. So now you can see that it's API. As that make it possible for us all to use travel sites. The same goes for all interactions between application data and divided devices. They all have APIs that allow computers to operate them, and that's why unlimitedly creates connectivity. So, whenever you think on an API, just think of it as your waiter running back and for between application database and device to deliver data and create the connectivity that puts the world at your fingertips and whenever you think of creating an API. Okay, it's all for me. Thank you.